In this lesson, we'll be looking at equivalent ratios. How do we solve for an unknown term in a ratio if we know that those two ratios are equivalent, or we say that they're in proportion? Well, remember that if two ratios are equivalent, they either have to reduce to the same simplest form, or you have to be able to take both of the terms in the first ratio and multiply them by the same number to get the ratios in this second, or the terms in the second ratio. So if we look at the picture, in ratio 1, we have 3 pluses. In ratio 2, we have 6 pluses. Clearly, this is doubled. It's been multiplied by 2. So if I know that ratio 1 and ratio 2 are equivalent, that means that the one negative sign in ratio 1 must also be multiplied by 2, and we would end up with 2 minus signs in ratio 2. What would this look like if I wrote it out? Well, I have 3 blue plus signs in ratio 1 to 1 minus. And if they're equivalent, I know this has to equal 6 plus signs in ratio 2 to some unknown number of minus signs. So just like I did with the picture, 3 times 2 gives us 6. So I also have to take the 1 and double it. So multiply it by 2 to get 2. So my ratio is 6 to 2, or my missing term in the proportion is 2. Let's look at some other examples. If I had 4 over 6 equals 2 over question mark, and I know that these ratios are in proportion, I need to figure out what am I doing to the top in the first fraction to get to the top in the second fraction. What am I doing to the numerators? Well, I'm taking the first numerator and I'm cutting it in half. So this time I'm dividing by 2. Remember, that's the same as multiplying by a half. So multiplying and dividing, it doesn't really matter which one you're using. You could say multiply by a half if you feel more comfortable. And whatever I do to the top, I have to do to the bottom. So if I divided 4 by 2, then I have to divide 6 by 2 as well. So my missing term is a 3. What if I have something like 1.5 over question mark equals 4.5 over 3. So I know that 1.5 is multiplied by some number. It's multiplied because it's getting bigger to make 4.5. So what I could do is, if I wasn't sure, I could type that into my calculator. I could say the bigger one, 4.5, divided by the smaller number that's in the other numerator, 1.5, and that gives us 3. So if you're not sure, you can always type into your calculator. And then I know whatever I do to the top, I have to do to the bottom. But this time, I know I have to take this question mark and multiply it by 3 to get 3. So what I need to do is just sort of work backwards. I would have to take the 3 and divide it by 3 to get the question mark. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. So 1.5 to 1 equals 4.5 to 3. What if our question mark's on the top instead of on the bottom? So question mark to 7 is equal to 3 over 21. Well, 7 times 3 is 21. So question mark times 3 has to be 3. But because the arrow's pointing sort of in the wrong direction for us to solve this problem, I'm going to say 3 divided by 3 will give me question mark. So 1 to 7 equals 3 to 21.